Welcome to Danger, the channel where we dive into the world's most chilling true crime stories. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we post something. Today, we're covering the heartbreaking and terrifying case of Molly McLaren, a young woman whose life was stolen by a man who refused to accept rejection. What began as a short relationship quickly turned into stalking, obsession, and ultimately, murder. Molly's case shocked the United Kingdom and became a powerful warning about how dangerous coercive control and stalking can become when the warning signs are ignored. Molly McLaren was just 23 years old. She lived in Kent, England, and was known for her passion for fitness, health, and positivity. She was a vibrant young woman with big dreams and a growing social media presence. Molly regularly shared workout routines, motivational posts, and parts of her daily life on Instagram, where she had built a loyal following. She was hardworking, independent, and close to her family and friends. People around her described her as confident, kind-hearted, and someone who always brought positive energy into a room. She worked hard to build a future for herself and loved spending time at the gym, which was a huge part of her life. Fitness was not just a hobby, it was her lifestyle. It was also through this world that she met the man who would later take her life, Joshua Stimpson. Joshua Stimpson was 26 years old when he met Molly in 2016. At first, he appeared charming and interested in the same lifestyle she enjoyed. Like Molly, he was into fitness and gym culture, which made it easy for them to connect. They began dating, and from the outside, things may have seemed normal. But very quickly, the relationship began to change. Joshua became controlling and possessive. He showed signs of jealousy early on and wanted constant attention from Molly. He became emotionally manipulative and obsessive, wanting to know where she was, who she was with, and what she was doing. The relationship became unhealthy fast, and Molly began to realize that this was not someone she could safely build a future with. After only a few months, she made the decision to end the relationship. For Molly, breaking up was the right decision. She wanted peace, freedom, and a chance to move forward. But for Joshua, rejection became an obsession. He refused to accept that the relationship was over. Instead of moving on, Joshua became fixated on Molly. What followed was a disturbing campaign of stalking and harassment. He constantly checked her social media pages, watched who she interacted with, and followed her movements both online and in real life. He sent repeated messages and made numerous phone calls, refusing to respect boundaries. He would show up unexpectedly in places where Molly was, making it clear that he was watching her. His behavior became increasingly frightening. Molly began telling friends and family that she was scared. She reportedly described Joshua as unstable and said his behavior was becoming more intense. She could feel that his obsession was growing. At one point, Joshua reportedly told Molly chilling things that suggested he could not handle losing control over her. He was angry that she had ended things and became even more enraged when he realized she was trying to move on with her life. Molly eventually began dating someone new. For most people, that would be a sign to let go. But for Joshua, it became fuel for his jealousy. He monitored her Instagram posts and watched every detail of her life. Seeing her happy without him made his anger worse. Investigators later discovered that he had become deeply consumed by resentment and possessiveness. He was not just heartbroken, he was planning. In the weeks leading up to the murder, Joshua's behavior became even more sinister. Evidence later showed that he had been researching violent material online and carefully tracking Molly's routine. He knew where she went regularly, especially her gym visits. He was preparing for something far worse. On June 8, 2017, Molly followed her normal daily routine. She went to the gym in Chatham, Kent, one of the places she felt most comfortable. It was supposed to be an ordinary day, but Joshua had been waiting. He had positioned himself near the gym car park, watching and waiting for her to finish her workout. This was not random, it was planned. As Molly left the gym and walked to her car, she likely had no idea that Joshua was nearby. She got into her vehicle, probably expecting to continue her day as usual. Instead, Joshua approached her and launched a brutal attack. In broad daylight, In front of witnesses, he stabbed Molly multiple times in the parking lot. The attack was fast, violent, and horrifying. People nearby were shocked as they realized what was happening. Emergency services were called immediately. Molly was rushed to hospital in critical condition. Doctors fought to save her life, but her injuries were too severe. Tragically, Molly McLaren died from the attack. She was only 23 years old. Joshua fled the scene after the stabbing, but police quickly launched a manhunt. He was later found nearby and arrested. From the beginning, investigators believed this was a deliberate and targeted killing. As the case unfolded, the full scale of Joshua's obsession became clear. Police uncovered evidence showing that he had stalked Molly for weeks and had become dangerously fixated on her. This was not a sudden emotional outburst. Prosecutors argued that it was a calculated act driven by control, jealousy, and rage. He had watched her life from a distance, unable to accept that she had chosen freedom over him. During the trial in 2018, disturbing details were revealed. Prosecutors described Joshua as a controlling and possessive ex-boyfriend who could not tolerate rejection. They showed how he had repeatedly monitored Molly's social media and become obsessed with her new relationship. The court heard that he had searched violent content online before the murder and had followed her routine closely enough to know exactly when to strike. This was stalking that escalated into murder. Molly's family sat through the painful trial, forced to relive the final months of her life and the terrifying reality of what she had been experiencing. They spoke about losing a daughter, sister, and loved one who had so much life ahead of her. Her mother later became one of the strongest voices speaking out about stalking awareness. She explained how stalking is often minimized until it turns deadly, and how people need to recognize the danger much earlier. She wanted Molly's death to mean something, to help protect others. Joshua Stimpson was found guilty of murder. The judge described his actions as cold, deliberate, and driven by possessive jealousy. He was sentenced to life in prison and ordered to serve a minimum of more than 26 years before he could even be considered for parole. For Molly's loved ones, no sentence could bring her back. Her death became part of a larger national conversation in the UK about domestic abuse, coercive control, and stalking laws. Many people pointed out that stalking is often dismissed as just an ex who can't let go, when in reality it can be the warning sign before something much worse. Molly had tried to protect herself. She ended the relationship. She spoke to people about her fear. She tried to move on. But Joshua's obsession turned deadly. Her story is now used as a painful but important reminder that stalking should never be ignored. Warning signs matter. Possessiveness is not love. Control is not affection. Obsession is not romance. Molly McLaren should be remembered not only as a victim of a horrific crime, but as a young woman full of life, ambition, and promise. She had dreams, plans, and a future that was stolen from her because one man believed he had the right to control her life. Her legacy continues through the awareness her story has created. And that is the tragic and chilling case of Molly McLaren, a young woman who simply wanted to move on, but was never given the chance. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think enough is being done to protect stalking victims before violence happens? This is Danger, where every story reminds us that evil can hide behind obsession. Thank you for watching. If you want more factual and respectful true crime content, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, stay safe.